Assalamu alaikum guys, and welcome to another episode of Smile to Jannah. Ladies and gentlemen, you probably have come across this article or somebody quoting this particular story. I certainly have at Speaker's Corner, where people will use this as an anecdote and then start bashing Islam. So it was written, as you guys can see, by Said Kamli Degan. So it's alright, Muslims. It's written by one of your guys, so you can't accuse us of being racist, yeah? Have some of that. The age-old strategy. You want to say something against the blacks? Bring a black forward. You want to say something against the Muslims? Bring one of their own forward, so they don't accuse us of being Islamophobic or racist. You know what I mean? Right. So it says Iranian facing stoning speaks. It's because I'm a woman. Exclusive. Sakineh Mohammadi Ashtiani accuses authorities in Tehran of lying about charges in attempt to execute her in secret. And as you guys can see, the article is still up. Yeah, there you go. Ooh, yeah, it's still there. It was 2010, so 16 years ago. It's been allowed to fester. It's been allowed to be quoted, be referenced. It's the Guardian, for God's sake. These are trained journalists, guys, yeah? It's in the news, therefore it's true. But let me tell you guys, let's have a look at this. As you guys can see at the top, Said Kamli Degan has said on his official handle the following. I want to come clean about a front page story I wrote for The Guardian, published on 07 August 2010. It was presented as an exclusive interview with Sakineh Ishtiani. So it's front page, ladies and gentlemen, yeah? Something on the front page, surely you'd be checking and you'd be making sure it's not a load of old tosh, yeah? That interview never happened. I fabricated the entire piece. It was a false story, completely untrue. And I take full responsibility. I apologize to the readers, to the Guardian, and most importantly, I seek forgiveness from Allah. I know that lies, especially those told publicly, can have far-reaching and uncontrollable consequences. I am making this confession of my own free will because I can no longer stay silent while so many misleading and false stories continue to be published about Iran, because this article was also used by justification that look, this is how they treat women, therefore we can bomb the crap out of them and the little girls. You know, remember the 200 girls that were bombed, that we heard the first story, the first people to be bombed in Iran? Yes, this is the sort of justification that people were giving. May Allah accept my tawbah. May it be a tawbah nasuh. Now some of you might be thinking maybe he's been coerced. Well, coerced? It's 16 bloody years ago, mate. The country's been bombed. I don't think they have time to be looking through articles and chasing people and getting them to do Instagram retractions. Surely he would have done a HD 4K video, not just a story on his bloody Instagram page. Because I went on his Instagram page and I couldn't find it. Yeah, because stories delete after 24 hours. Yeah. Denzel Washington once said, if you do not watch the news, you're uninformed. If you do watch the news, you're misinformed. So what do? Exactly. That's the catch-22. This was another one I wanted to show you guys. This has been doing the rounds. You can see, looking at this guy, he's got the kafiyah on, he's got the Palestinian flag, he's there at the march. Surely he must be a Palestinian or at least pro-Palestinian. No, ladies and gentlemen. Look, I'm not going to show this one because their footage is, a bit messed up. So, activists exposed an IDF soldier who was posing in kafiyah at Columbia University. He was exposed as a sergeant that participated in the Gaza GG. According to reports, he was telling people he was Khama or hummus fighter and showing October the footage, attempting to trick people and asking them whether they support the resistance. So is there giving his justification like a piece of crap that he is? Now this guy explained it well.
Soldiers acting like Palestinians that are former age group veterans. And they just got caught right now in Washington Square Park acting like agent provocateurs, trying to get people to say crazy things, and watch what they do.
So they walked off and then they changed their clothes and look, they come back and you can see their Instagram pages. Look,
Steve Cohen and Addie and
then they go back to
look where they went.
Yeah, back to their stall. And when they were confronted, look at them. Cowards. And here he is trying to justify.
We're doing right now something that...
I don't want to hear them talk, frankly. Let's have a look at this one. Yeah, this guy has been doing some mad posts here. So, a Winnipeg, Canada cafe owner was caught by police staging a fake anti-Semitic hate crime against her own business. Is this person Jewish? Asked Grok. Let's have a look. Yes, the Brent Barent family, owners of Winnipeg's cafe, are Jewish Ukrainian immigrants who arrived via Israel. They ran a kosher restaurant, observed Passover, and had ties to the local Jewish community. Police charged them in 2019 with staging anti-Semitic graffiti and claimed assault, playing the victim. They denied it and left Canada with warrants outstanding. Absolute classic. Right, let's go to the next one. Hey Grok, Israeli singer Gil Ofarim made a huge scene at a hotel in Germany, collapsing on the floor and saying staff attacked him for being Jewish. Did he later admit he made it all up? Yes, in a November 2023 Leipzig court hearing on defamation charges, Gil admitted fabricating his 2021 claims that Western hotel staff refused him service over his Star of David necklace. He apologized to the manager, deleted the video, and paid 10,000 shekels, euros, to the Jewish community and Holocaust education groups. What? Why is he paying Holocaust education groups? Because he lied. My God. Then the case was dropped. Oh, hey. Of course it was. This is Ivanka Trump, the daughter of Donald Trump, that's just converted to Judaism. I'm thinking I might even do an entire video on this.
About your decision to
know.
go on this journey. Waiting for you?
So I never normally talk about this, but we're amongst friends, right? It's just...
It's already cringe. She's basically going to say, it wasn't because of my husband. It was my choice. I did it myself. Yeah, so I just saved you, 4 minutes of waffle. Congratulations to her. If she genuinely accepted Judaism and it's going to change her life, of course, kudos, yeah? But I wonder, many of you guys probably didn't even hear this. Imagine if she converted to Islam. Imagine the uproar. Imagine the headlines. Imagine the debates. This barely gets a mention. Okay, so this guy. Hey, Grok. A Michigan man claimed he was stabbed in a hate crime against his religion. Police found he stabbed himself and fabricated the attack. Is the person Jewish? Let's have a look. Yes, the case matching the description is Sean Summit in West Bloomfield in 2019. He worked as a cantorial soloist at Temple Kol Ami, claimed the attack was anti-Semitic and police determined he stabbed himself. He is Jewish. The desperation, ladies and gentlemen. And I also want to give you this before I leave. So this article, 206 million went to promoting hatred of American Muslims. Yeah, this was a study done by CAIR and the University of California, Berkeley. They reported and named 74 groups they say contributed to Islamophobia in the US. Ladies and gentlemen, if Islam is such a threat, if Muslims are so evil and told to harm the disbelievers, why do you need to, number one, fabricate attacks? Surely they should be happening. All you need to be doing is highlighting them. Why would you need to fabricate something and risk being criminalized or just the case being dropped? As I've just demonstrated with a few of them. Why would you risk that? Because clearly it's not happening at that level. Secondly, why would you need 74 groups making people hate Islam when surely if Muslims are evil, you don't need to do that much work. They will just sabotage themselves. It's because, ladies and gentlemen, it's been exaggerated. In this study, it analyzed 10 stories by the Times newspaper, and it looked at how Muslim terrorists were covered and how non-Muslim terrorists were covered. Muslim terrorists, they were mentioned actively and a lot of detail was mentioned about their issue, about the attack that happened. When it came to non-Muslims, it was said in a passive voice and it wasn't gone into that much detail. I've mentioned Georgia State University study many times that Muslim terrorists get 4.5 times more mention than non-Muslim terrorists. I also want to give an honorable mention to University of Nebraska 2020 study that they said that Muslims are 5 times more likely to be called terrorists in the print media. Lloyd and West's study that I've got on the screen right now showed when white British people were showed the same terrorist attack, one with a Muslim name, one with a non-Muslim name, they opted to call the one with the Muslim name a terrorist attack and the one with the non-Muslim name not a terrorist attack. And the list goes on. So I guess what I'm saying in a roundabout sort of way, ladies and gentlemen, is don't believe what you see in the news. Meet Muslims in person. This is what the psychological studies say, that the biases, the prejudice gets reduced once you interact. So that's what I would say for the non-Muslims. And for the Muslims, integrate. Don't just live in your little areas. You gotta move around and interact with people, not just your own folk, because you are actually hurting and harming your cause. I know it's difficult. I know it's uncomfortable because people like being around similar folks. I get that. But it's best for you and us in the long run if you integrate, because that's one of the complaints, justified complaints that people have against Muslims. Ladies and gentlemen, inshallah you've benefited. Apologize for uploading quite late. I need to be more active, but alhamdulillah, I've got Smile to Jannah extra channel in which I'm uploading my Speaker's Corner debates, so that's keeping me occupied. However, I will inshallah continue uploading here as well regularly, that is. Make dua for me. See you guys next time. Assalamu alaikum.